We're all just people on this earth who live for a short time. I can't get my head around the throwing physics. Ah! I feel like I need to see some kind of like visualized arc. Yes! Is this game better than Genshin? Don't. The discourse around it is low-key really annoying. Does comping other games show lack of creativity? That is such an interesting question. Mr. Sucks, thank you for the raid! Laments. Hey. I just pulled my first 5-star. And I must admit, he was very low on my list of characters that I wanted. But, you can't reroll beta accounts, so it's okay. His gameplay is cool, though, I will say. What do you guys think about the rendering of Wuthering Waves characters? I've heard some people say not to be that person who's, like, comparing everything to Genshin, because the discourse around it is low-key really annoying. I'm curious, what do you guys think about Wuthering Waves, like animation and rendering compared to Genshin? Rubber hair. Oh, you know what? That does look a little bit Polly Pocket-y. But like, I don't know, I feel like that's so beautiful. Graphic rendering needs more depth to it. It looks like every other game. Smooth but not as good. A little dim. I can see that. I partially agree, but at the same time, I feel like the strong colors in these designs like really pop. You want them to change the font of this game. Listen, am I gonna get crucified if I say I like it? I'm dyslexic, so maybe I find this font incredibly easy to read. So maybe that's why I like it so much. It's because it's like really easy on my eyes. Like, I like that it's not a serif. It's giving open dyslexic. Y'all know open dyslexic? What do y'all think about open dyslexic? Beautiful, isn't it? You know, it could use some more personality. I do see what you're saying. It does look like a stock font, as opposed to, I think, HSR and Genshin both have unique fonts. I'm actually obsessed with the song. Is this game better than Genshin? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about if it's better. It's gonna be a different game. There's like so many different ways to answer that question that it's like honestly not even worth thinking about. Whoa. Okay, literally, what was I saying? Can I move? I think Genshin players will like Wuthering Waves. How's that? Is that good? I think there's a lot for Genshin players to enjoy. It's similar enough that it's not a hard jump, but there's mechanics in the game that make it more complex than Genshin. But there's gonna be a lot of CCs that like literally just want to start fights because it gets views and just like want to trash one game or trash the other, and as long as it gets clicks and views, it doesn't matter. Which, like, if that's what people want to do, whatever, like, get your bag, but don't worry about it. Like, just like what you like and be happy that competition typically means a better end product. When there's competition, genuine competition in like a similar genre, the consumer wins. Both products end up being better, so that's good. Yeah, it's almost like you can like more than one game at the same time. Yeah, it's almost impossible to talk about because there are some people who everyone plays games in a different way. Like especially games like this where it's so multifaceted. Different facets of the game just matter differently to different types of players. So like even for some people, you could tell them that Wuthering Waves blows Genshin Impact combat out of the water and is the best thing since sliced bread, and they won't care because maybe they're like lore players. Genuinely, like there's so many different types of Genshin Impact players especially that like trying to argue, like what's the point? Does comping other games show lack of creativity? That is such an interesting question. Honestly, there's a lot that could be discussed at that point. However, if you want to talk about copying specifically in regards to games copying Genshin, I would encourage you to do some research on how Genshin Impact was talked about when it first came out. And why, still to this day, some people call it Breath of the Waifus. That's what Genshin Impact was called. Probably like, especially in the first month of release, because it bore such striking similarities to Breath of the Wild, especially Mondstadt. That's a topic I honestly don't really care that much to discuss at this point. I'm just chilling. The word waifu needs to be eradicated from this earth. I think there's a clip of someone asking me who's my favorite waifu in Genshin. It's on my clips channel somewhere. There's nothing new under the sun. If you really start looking into copying video games and copying and taking inspiration from, there will be no end to it. There is no end to the content cycle of copying and taking inspiration from. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. They copied that tree from Genshin Impact. In a lot of cases, games don't really go after other games unless there's like blatant asset copying or like blatant plagiarism, which there is a difference, by the way. Like legally, there is a difference. Most developers would be hard-pressed for an opportunity to point the finger at a game without having that finger pointed back at them by somebody else. I just am not going to worry about it too much. I just am here to game. Whoever is gonna give me the best gaming experience, that's the game I'm gonna play. Games, plural. Even no research paper are inspired from past research. What am I even yapping about? Yeah, we're all just people on this earth who live for a short time, but the work stays behind, and lots of people of their own volition and of their own brains come up with the same exact idea, even without copying each other. There's almost nothing original being produced in this world right now. What is this game actually about? It's an isekai, from what I can tell. All I really know about the story, what I've gathered, is that she's very special and the MC has special powers and has multiple people vying for her allegiance. The MC is special with special powers? What? Never seen that before. The main character has a difficult decision to make and feels woefully unprepared to make that decision and is faced with trials that is going to challenge them both in mind, body, spirit, morality, and drive? No way! Is it every story that's ever existed? A friend of mine told me there's a concept in philosophy or sociology that says every form of creation is basically a fan art of something else. They don't say fan art, they usually say fancy Greek word, but I use fan art because it works. That's funny. Most of the time, in my opinion, it comes down to like intent. Because while rarely anything is actually original, there is uniqueness to each person's brain, as there is uniqueness to their fingerprint. That's why there's a difference between tracing a character versus making the effort to draw that character. Like, it will never be exactly the same. In each artist, even if they're drawing the same exact thing, each artist has their own style that is impossible to like exactly replicate. That's why like signatures can be verified to such a precise level. So there is a uniqueness to each person in like the tiniest nuanced way. But like my favorite artist, I don't need to see their signature to know that they created it. Point being, while 10 different fan arts of the same character, very similar, have similar features, they're all unique. To some degree, you could argue that nothing is original and everything is original. And we just kind of exist in a world of both. My favorite artist right now is Peach Momoko. Joshua introduced me to her. She's primarily a comic artist. She's drawn Omori fan art as well. Yeah, we're getting real philosophical right now. Basically, we live in a society. I'm just passing through. Every person is a ball of random experiences and interactions that can never be exactly the same. Yeah, so while there might not be originality in concepts, each person is absolutely like, no two people have the same thumbprint. No two people have the exact same brain and mind and experience. So there is uniqueness in that in each of us. So, my opinion, honestly, if I flush this out more thoroughly, as long as that muscle is being exercised, that creative individuality, two concepts that are similar are ultimately unique. What is happening? Ever since Ziox Jack got here, we've been yapping about who knows what anymore. He is a yap archon. Yeah. You know, I wish I could be a brave yapper. I really do. Because even though I know I'm the streamer, and I'm literally the only one physically talking in this conversation, I still sometimes hear myself I'm like, dang, I gotta shut up. The yapping is encouraged. Well, at least I know you guys who are here from Ziox are used to it. I say that with love. I do say that with love and respect. Do 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 do.